You've likely seen the headlines claiming Social Security is going bankrupt, or that the trust fund is going to zero. That is factually incorrect. Here is what actually happens in 2032. The program will not stop collecting FICA taxes from current workers, but federal law dictates that Social Security cannot pay out more than it brings in. When the surplus trust fund runs dry, benefits are legally restricted to the exact revenue coming in the door. This chart shows exactly what that restriction looks like. On the left is our current funding level. On the right is 2032. The math guarantees a drop to 76 cents on the dollar for all beneficiaries. That missing chunk is a 24% structural gap. For an average retiree receiving $2,071 a month, that gap translates to a loss of $497 every single month. That is nearly $500 less to pay for housing, food, and medication. That timeline is now moving faster. Recent legislation, specifically the One Big Beautiful Bill, reduced the taxation on certain Social Security benefits. By keeping more money in retirees' pockets today, it reduced revenue going back into the system, accelerating the depletion deadline by 6 to 12 months. Lawmakers know this math, but historically, Congress waits until the absolute midnight hour to fix entitlement programs. In 1983, the last time the system faced depletion, a rescue package passed just weeks before the checks would have been cut. Building your retirement budget around the assumption that Washington will pass a flawless, painless fix at the 11th hour is a high-risk financial strategy. Someone will absorb the cost, whether through higher taxes or trimmed benefits. The decision in front of you is not about predicting what politicians will do. It is about deciding right now whether to leave your income exposed to a sudden cliff or to restructure your financial plan today. The 2032 deadline is the large, looming threat, but it is colliding with a quiet crisis of fixed income compression that is happening to retirees right now. Every year, Social Security adjusts for inflation. The recent cost of living adjustment, or COLA, provided a 2.8% increase to help retirees keep up with rising prices. For the average recipient, that 2.8% raise equals roughly $56 additional a month. But this comes with a catch. At the exact same time, Medicare Part B premiums spiked by 9.7%. This waterfall chart tracks your bank account. A $56 COLA gain starts it, but Medicare premiums are automatically deducted, subtracting $17.90 immediately. That leaves $38. But senior-specific inflation in energy and medical care swallows the rest, pushing purchasing power into the negative. The General Consumer Price Index measures the whole economy. Retirees, however, spend a disproportionately high percentage of their income on heating, electricity, and prescription drugs, categories inflating much faster than the broader index. This creates a fixed income illusion. Retirees lose real purchasing power daily, degrading their ability to absorb a sudden 24% shock 7 years from now. Let's map strategies by required effort today versus long-term security impact. First, delay to 70 increases your baseline benefit by 8% per year, raising your floor. Second, stress test budgeting means calculating your 2032 projected benefit and forcing yourself to live on that reduced amount right now. Both of these options live in the high-effort, high-impact quadrant. They require a lower standard of living today, and they force you to self-fund the gap through continued employment or aggressive portfolio withdrawals. Delaying your benefits also carries actuarial risk. You must live past your mid-80s to break even on the money passed up by waiting. But there is a blind spot in this planning that compounds the 2032 risk. Most people severely misunderstand how long-term nursing care is funded. Medicare is not a permanent shield. It covers a skilled nursing facility for a maximum of 100 days after a hospital stay. On day 101, that coverage stops completely. At that point, you pay out of pocket. Individuals must spend down their life savings until their accounts are completely depleted just to mathematically qualify for Medicaid. If you do not preemptively stress test your budget or secure a plan for long-term care, a health event will drain your private assets. That leaves you wholly dependent on an unpredictable, shrinking federal safety net, precisely when you are most vulnerable. Because the legislative timeline in Washington is out of your control, the most practical response is a triage plan based entirely on your age. If you are 65 or older and currently retired, you have zero runway to increase your lifetime wage earnings. Your financial vulnerability is high. For current retirees, your strategy is defensive. Audit Medicare choices with a SHIP counselor to stop premium leaks and trim discretionary overhead. If you are 55 to 64, you possess leverage. Don't lock in a reduced age 62 benefit before a 24% cut. That compounds losses. Instead, actively explore part-time bridge work. Earning just enough to cover your living expenses for a few more years allows you to fund the delay to age 70. For earners ages 22 to 45, your objective is decoupling retirement security from federal promises. When running compound interest calculators, input a harsh assumption. Expect 0 to 50% of promised Social Security income to actually be there. Yes, this requires a much higher private savings rate today. But it is the only way to guarantee mathematical immunity from a demographic cliff that is decades in the making. Regardless of your age, navigate to ssa.gov today, pull your specific earnings record, find your estimated benefit, and run your own 76